What's up, Bulls? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a special guest to talk about stocks and help you guys get into investing. He is Professor Dr. Money.
Hello, everybody. I'm Professor Dr. Money.
Welcome, everyone. So we're going to dive right into this. We have 10 topics here we're going to cover. We're going to try to help people get into investing and give our inputs and insight of, investing over the years. I know you have billions of dollars here, quite more than most of us have here, right? Not me, but we're on equal levels here. But compared to everyone else out there, we could probably buy a state ourselves, right? The first thing I want to go into is explaining why people are still broke, because that's the first thing to get a good introduction to the stock market. Is honestly, people need money, right?
Yeah, they do. Yes.
And I feel like some people in this world, they get some money, they work some kind of job, but the money they're working is just going straight out the window. I think 50. I think the stat is 50% of America or more is living paycheck to paycheck. And the other 50% is in debt. Even worse. So there's literally no one getting ahead in America here. Everything's going up and up in prices. And so we kind of have to, I guess, stress the importance of stocks and how it can really change people's lives. Now, I know a stock, just to break it down for the viewers at home, a stock is an asset. You own this. And you get rich by owning these. And these are parts of a business. They will help you grow. They'll help you gain financial freedom. But first, you need money. You need money. And what do you think about that? Like, what do you think the first steps for, like, people, trying to get into this or don't know much about this? Like, what questions do you think they would have, or what's the barriers to entry? What do you think about all that?
Here's my thoughts on this. My first thought is, if you don't have money, chances are it's your fault. It really is. It's not an existential crisis. It's not an outside circumstance. It's just that you don't have the knowledge or the courage to make money. There's a saying, it's money talks and bullshit walks. Ooh. It's absolutely true. If you're not talking, you're not making money. If all you're doing is walking, actually, I take it back. Some of you aren't even walking. You just stop.
They crawling.
So
bro.
I mean, they're crawling. Yeah. They're crawling. So the first step to making money is to think about money. Most of you have white noise in your head. You're like squirrels sitting in trees. Like, you're not really thinking about anything. There's just white noise all day. If you ask one of your coworkers, ask somebody, "Hey, what do you plan to do with your life?" It's, "Oh no." And that's just most people. Most people aren't even thinking. So once you start thinking about anything, you're ahead of 50% of people. Once you start thinking about how to make money, that's the first step on your journey to money. So that's what I would say. I would say the first thing to do is to start thinking about money. Where does money come from?
Right.
People don't know that. How is money made?
And it's like,
can you make money outside of your job? Do you have to work for someone to make money? Is there a skill you have that can make you money? A lot of people just don't think about these things, and that's why they don't make money, because they don't think about making it.
And that's, I think, a very good point, right? I mean, you see all these people, and how many, like you said, do have something else besides white noise? Like, when they go into a business, do they think, how did this business get here? Who owns this business? What does the business process look like? How is this business actually making money, right? Like, even owning a small business, you still have to know what money comes in, what money goes out, and at the end of the day, how much money can you have excess beyond your spending, right? You need a little nest egg first. If you don't have any money, you can't invest. So
exactly. And as far as I know, you're Mr. Wall Street, so I think you teach people how to make money through stocks, correct?
Absolutely. And I swear by it. I live by it. It's in my blood.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about how I make money. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about how I make my money here, because that's for a different story. However, I do know a thing or two about stocks, so I'm going to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach how to make money. But this is your channel, so we're going to talk about what you do. So if somebody wanted to start stocks, where would you start? Before I say anything, where would you start?
Well, the first thing is, great question. And I'm sure a lot of people have that at home, right? So let's say you work a part-time job. I assume the average population, has evolved past, to a human level. I want to give the benefit of the doubt here. I assume we're living in the day and age that we are. And I assume that people can work a part-time job, bag a grocery, and make $15, $16 an hour. It's literally the minimum wage. You can make some money right now, right? $30,000 a year. You'll have, if you're not spending stupidly and you're not living with outside your means, you can invest. So, right, you can open up a Robinhood account and go to Robinhood.com. You can have the app in your app store. It's called Robinhood, right? It's about, Robinhood was about giving back to the poor, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. But Robinhood, what it actually does is take from the poor and gives to the rich. That's what Robinhood is actually doing here.
Okay.
Your job is to become part of the rich because the poor will never win, ever. They don't have power, they don't have money, they don't have women, they are broke in all aspects of life.
So let me interject here. So what I'm hearing is that there's different services the average person without money, not us because we have money, but the average person without money can sign up for in order to make more money on top of what they're doing already?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I think even if people have money, whether it's in a bank account, whether it's in savings, whether it's...
Well, let me stop you there again.
Yeah.
So when it comes to savings and bank account, I don't think that cuts it anymore in 2025. People don't understand what inflation is. You have $10,000 right now, but it won't be worth the same a year from now. It's going to be less and less every year.
Right.
So while you're sitting there hoarding money like you're a dragon out of Lord of the Rings, your treasure is dwindling slowly but surely while these banks are making money off of you. So saving it isn't going to cut it if you want to become wealthy. Imagine you're saving $10,000 every year. Do you know how long it takes you to get to $1 million from that point?
A long time, right? If you're working 10,000...
100 years.
And that's without you spending a penny, by the way. That's without you spending a penny.
Yes. Saving $10,000 every year if you aren't living paycheck to paycheck. It's going to take you 100 years to get $1 million.
Hey, they say
I'm not saying...
The age is supposed to, our life expectancy is hopefully going to be by that, for us younger people here. But
who knows? Maybe we'll live for 200 years in a couple of years. However, for now, as far as I know, we only live until about 85, 90 on average. So that means that you won't be alive to see your money become $1 million because you'll be gone by then. So the advice you hear on the internet, save your money until you're rich, is BS. Once you have any type of money, you can start making more money. You don't have to wait until you have 100, 1,000, or 10,000. You can start investing with just $10. And most of you can afford $10.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every dollar counts, bro. And even like you said, even if you have $1 million in 100 years, with inflation, which is explained in the sense of, your treasure's dwindling. If your value of your money is being less and less, as we print more money, as we spend more money, your currency becomes less. And that's why minimum wage has to increase by a little bit. But most wages aren't keeping up with inflation, which has been 3-4% or even higher, which means every year your value to buy eggs, to buy gas is less. So $1 million in 100 years, you're going to still be broke.
Right. So if you're broke now, you're going to be super broke later. I didn't even know super broke exists until recently. There are people who are super broke. I didn't know that was possible.
That's a new terminology, right?
It's a new terminology, yes.
It's a different breed. It's the super broke.
Super broke. It's a genetic mutation.
Now, so, I mean, the first step, get a little bit of money, get your head above water, like, stop spending on stupid stuff, right? Everyone has stupid stuff they're spending on. So you got a little money, you stop spending stupid stuff. That's the first step. Second step here is to get into investing, open up your Robinhood account, and you got to shift this mindset. You got to think money, right? You got to think money. It's a mental...
So wait, hold on. Let me stop you there. Sure. Let's put it systematically, because I'm imagining, right? If in some interdimensional shift, I was broke in a different. I can't even say a different universe because I don't think a reality exists. Let's say hypothetically, I wasn't me. I was somebody who's kind of like me, but not really me. If I was broke and I wanted to start getting into investing, the first step is to sign up for Robinhood. Is that what you're saying?
I would say so. I think it would be a good space to start. You know, I think it's very.
How would I get money though? How would I get the money to use Robinhood?
I think you got to start by either deciding, do you want to go down the traditional path of either going to college and getting in a bunch of debt, or getting a standard job, 9-to-5 job, or, which I know a job application, trust me, I know it's scary to a lot of people, but it's literally, you take 5 minutes, you fill out a form, most places will accept you. You can start getting $15-20 an hour. You work for a year, you could get $40,000 after taxes. You could get $30,000 if your bills. You know, I mean, you can't be having those expensive cars. You can't be having a place to live. So you got to be living under a rug for a few years. So like, you just got to rough it. I hate to say it, but you got to rough it. And
every moment is rough when you're broke. Trust me.
Every moment you're broke. I mean, you can't afford healthcare. You can't afford food. I mean, if you can't afford good food and health, I mean, you kind of already done there. I mean,
it's already over.
If you're dating, if you have kids, how are you going to afford that? You can't even afford it yourself. I mean, isn't it crazy that we invented a system that you need to abide by to live on planet Earth? Like, you know,
I mean, the money makes the world go round.
I mean, I know people out in, different countries out in the middle of nowhere that are living better than some people in the U.S. I hate to say it. I mean, it's getting something first, right? You could buy and sell a good, right? You can start some kind of something. It is interesting to everyone. I think everyone has their passion.
So let me stop you there.
Yeah.
Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say. If you had absolutely $0, okay, there's a couple ways you can start. We're still going to talk about stocks, but in order to invest in stocks, you need income. You need some form of money to start. So here's where I would start, from zero. If somehow all of my money vanished like the Avatar did,
right,
I would start like this. 1, do I have any skills? No matter what it is, are you good at video games? I know a lot of you might play games. Are you good at anything? Are you good at video editing? Are you good at talking? Are you good at walking? Are you good at anything? Think of any skill you might have and start selling that skill. But it's like, whoa, how do I sell that without any money? I'm happy you asked. You can go to a local library. You can talk to people. Hey, I know how to video edit. Do you know any people who need videos edited? Or you could go the easier route and apply for a job. A minimum wage job. If you live in Kansas, I'm sorry. It's hell out there. It's like $7 minimum wage. That's nothing at all.
And don't get something you hate, right? Like, don't, because you're not going to
honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You're going to hate most of your jobs. You are.
I'm trying.
It's not fun working for people. No, I'm going to tell it to you straight. It's not fun working for people. It never has been, never will be. Who wants to get up when they don't want to and go to work for somebody and make them more money? Have you guys heard of Amway? Amway has the greatest business plan of all time. So Amway is a multi-level marketing company. And in Amway, I think they have one of the greatest business models of all time. Here's why. Imagine someone comes up to you and asks you, hey, do you want a way to get out of your situation? Do you hate your life? Do you want more money? Well, I have a perfect solution for you. How about you pay me to pay for my products, to sell my products, to make me money?
Crazy.
Then you ask, well, like, how do I make money? Like, okay, but how do I make the money? What about you? You pay me to make me money. At some point, you might make money, but you're making me more wealthy. And that's what you guys need to do. You need to learn how to get people to pay you. And if you don't know how to do that, you're going to have to get a job somewhere. McDonald's is always hiring. If you don't have money, sometimes you got to flip a couple burgers. I'd rather flip burgers than be broke. You know, sometimes you got to fold a couple clothes. fold a couple of clothes, go to Kohl's, go to Walmart. You can get a warehouse job. Yes, it's hard labor, but I mean that's what broke people have to do. They have to work.
And you have to view it as you're not going to be there forever, right? Like, at least don't go in there with that mindset, because you will get trapped. There are plenty of people I know that have ended up doing the same crap for 40 years. And you talk to people at grocery, how long you been here? Oh, I've been here forever. And they never escaped. And they never escaped the rat race. They've always been unhappy. They've never, it's like you have to think that there's more to life. You have to. It's a deep ingrained mindset I've always had. You've always had. And anyone that's ever successful has had. You have to believe that there's something more. And you know why? Because there is. There is more. Yes. There always is more. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so do struggle through it. It's going to be painful, right? Like Mr. Professor Money said here. It's not.
Professor Dr. Money.
Dr. Professor Money. My apologies.
No. Not Dr. Professor Dr.
Professor
Money.
Dr. Money. My apologies.
Yes, it's okay. It happens. I mean, when you're wealthy, you have a lot to think about, so I understand.
It's a lot on my mind, and it's all money. And so do what it takes, right? Like, suck it up. Don't try looking. Sometimes the best way to get through a tough time is brute force. I think brute forcing out of instead of wiggling around trying to find some fast way to make money, just brute force it. The time you spent weaseling around, having white noise in your head, jerking it to who knows what. I don't even want to know what you're jerking it to. All that time you could have just brute forced it, bit the bullet, worked for a couple months, and got a good nest egg to start investing. Right? Do you agree with that?
So if we're gonna start investing, I agree. So the next question would be, and I'm asking you because this is your channel. What would you tell them? Let's say, how much do they need to start? How much do you think would be a good starting point for investing?
Man, I mean, I compare it to I'm trying to. It's hard to visualize, being in that situation. It's.
I know. It takes a lot of energy. It really does.
But okay, let's say you're making the bare minimums. You're able to save 10-20% at minimum. You should be able to save 50% of your paycheck. I think there's no excuses for that. But 10-20%. So I mean, even after minimum wage, you should be able to get couple hundred, couple thousand. I refuse to. If you can't make that much, you're not trying. You just aren't. You're being lazy.
But what specific amounts, if any, would they need to get to? Give them a goal to shoot for. Give them a goal to shoot for.
I think a good goal that isn't too far out of reach, I would say $500. I think.
So $500.
Yep.
So for you watching right now, if you have $500, which you should, you can start investing right away.
Yep.
And if you're working even a minimum wage job outside of buttfuck Kansas, you should be able to accumulate $500 in a couple months. And it's not that difficult.
And here's the thing, right? A lot of people, especially that never got into investing, that never got into stocks, that say, that's all too risky. And with inflation, you're losing money. If you're giving your money to the bank, you have your money in the bank account, which I assume most people do. Even your emergency funds in the bank, they're making 5-10 times the amount that you're putting in, because legally the banks are allowed to invest your money. They are. You go there for a loan, right? And you ask the bank for a loan, they're going to charge you the 7-10% interest rate. Where do they get that money from? They get that money from you or from other people putting money in the bank, right? And people need to understand that. It's if your money is just sitting there, you're losing. Money needs to flow like a river. It needs to be constantly in motion, constantly put to work, because you want to get to the point where your money slowly overtakes you in the working. If you get enough money, it works for you, and you'll never have to work again. And unless you want to work for Joe Schmo yelling at you because you didn't do something right at your job that you hate, right? Like, I assume most of you don't want that to be the rest of your life. And this isn't something where like everyone's like, oh, well, this is going to take 40 years and I'll have a little bit of money when I retire. No, this is actual advice that you guys can take to take steps in your mindset and the approach to go from nothing, which you can do, to getting a fair amount of wealth in a few years. I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight. This is going to take a couple years and some hard work and some locking in, as the young kids would say, right? Like, it's about shifting your mindset, right? And this is something where, oh, well, I don't know about investments. That's the great thing about nowadays. You don't have to. You can. I mean, you
can chat GPT that stuff,
exactly.
Man. You can learn. You can Google everything. Now, here, look. If you want to make money, let me give you the secrets, okay? There's 3 ways, as far as I know, where you can make money fast and have a lot of it forever. It's going to be stocks or investing in general, real estate, which is a form of investing, or entrepreneurship, which is owning a business. So business would be like YouTube or just owning any type of business that you can scale. 2 would be real estate, buying property, letting people stay there, renting it out to people. The last one is investing, buying stuff that gains value over time and then selling it for profit. Because you don't have to actively do anything other than, if you're doing stocks, hit a button. Some of you hit buttons all day long, so why wouldn't you hit a button on a phone? If you're a cashier, you're hitting the cabinet button all day. And that's a couple hundred, if not thousands of pushes. If you're doing stocks, boop, boop, 1 million. Easy. So, with that being said.
I just want to emphasize that point. It's that easy. Like, seriously, if you're watching this and you don't have a Robinhood account, stop it right here. Use the link in the below. Go to Robinhood.com and make an account. It's that it takes maybe simple. 5 minutes. You just enter a little bit of personal information. You're not gonna be taxed or charged anything unless you make a profit. So you don't even have to worry about any of that extra stuff. It's very simple.
Let me interject here because what he means by being taxed when you make a profit is a small percentage, like 1 or 2%. You're not gonna be taxed all your money from stocks.
No,
unless you're making big bank like us. But at that point, you got better issues to worry about being getting taxed if you're going home with 100K.
Yeah, and this isn't no financial advice. This isn't no tax advice. Obviously, if you want, go see a professional, right? Like, that is actually certified to do this stuff and to specialize for your special needs that you have, right? But it's true. I mean,
special needs is crazy.
It's almost a disability to be broke. It's almost. It's
in this society it is. It really is.
It's you're playing Monopoly handicapped, right? You're the one that has to pay the fees and go to jail every 5 minutes. You're not, and you have to pay all those properties you land on. You're paying rent. You're paying those properties. I mean, it would be much better to have the hotels on those properties and you own them, and then you can get paid, right? It's you have to get to the other side of the game board here. And get that boardwalk, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you really do. Like, if I was, like I said, if hypothetically there was someone similar to me that was broke and I was working at a job, no matter what job it is, and I just hate my job, I hate my manager, I hate my coworkers, or I'm just tired of working for people every day, I would be looking for any way out. And one of the best ways to do that, especially if you already have a job, is to start investing in real estate or stocks. However, stocks is a way easier barrier of entry because when you do real estate, there's a whole lot of legal things you need to learn. Of course, you need to learn about stocks. However, most people can understand clicking 2 buttons to buy something and then sell something and let it grow over time. So what I want to ask you, Mr. Wall Street, is what is a stock? For the people at home who've never fathomed making money outside of their job, what is a stock?
Besides being the train to success, it's essentially you're owning a business. You think of any business that's out there, right? A food joint, McDonald's, they have a stock. Walmart has a stock. Amazon has a stock. Tesla has a stock. And when you buy a portion of that, and it might be a 0.001%, whatever you can afford, you're buying a part of the company. And so you can technically say you're a business owner. And I know that'll look good on some of your resumes. I know
So
that'll
wait,
look
you're
good on some of the
telling
dating
me?
apps even.
So hold on, you're telling me if I was working at McDonald's and I bought McDonald's stock, I don't do stocks that much, so I don't know if McDonald's stock exists.
Sure.
However, if I bought McDonald's stocks, you mean to tell me I own part of McDonald's?
Absolutely. So you could say you own the business you're working for.
Wow. And exactly what is it called when I buy the stock?
I guess let me when you buy a stock, what is it called, or what it has a stock ticker, and it's buying an asset, and it's going to
wait, let me stop you there. What is an asset?
An asset is a great thing. It's just like the behind of a woman. You know, it's very it's very great. It's something that has value, right, and something that can increase in value over time, right? It's not it's the opposite of a liability, which is something that is a debt or something that counts against you financially, right?
Could a liability be something that doesn't have value?
Can it be something that doesn't have value? I think I'm not sure. That's a good question.
So you would say something without value is not a liability?
I think if it has any kind of tangible value, it's an asset. That's what I would classify it as.
Okay. So here's the reason why I asked that is because a lot of you watching right now are liabilities. You don't have value. And in order to have value and become an asset, you have to learn how to do something to make yourself more money.
I think the person watching this, you in particular behind the camera, you do have intrinsic value. It's just not coming out of you, right? I think the potential of human life, I've seen so many crazy stuff in my life.
I want to stop you there too, because I think that some of you don't have value even on the inside. Some of you broke are just as broke on the inside as you are on the outside, and it shows. It really does show. Anytime you're trying to put down other people for living their dreams because you can't get out of your own broke reality, I just don't. I think you're a liability. However, you can change. Therefore, you should keep watching this in order to learn how to do that. Because I'm going to tell you the first step. The first step to change is to accept your liability. Once you understand that you're a liability, you don't have any value, or you're taking value away from others, you can start to ask yourself, okay, if people invest in assets, how can you get someone to invest in you? It's simple. Provide value. That's the first step. So by providing value, you can make more money because people invest in assets. They really do. However, when it comes to stocks, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I think the value is the key, right? And I think the good first step for people watching at home is provide value to yourself, right? I think it's like those airplanes where they say help yourself before helping others in those emergency situations. It's just like real life. You have to take care of yourself, get yourself cleaned up, go get that haircut you've been delaying, shave, get freshened up, smell good always, buy some nice clothes for yourself, and you have to treat yourself and give yourself value to then be able to give that value to other people on this earth, right? Like, you're not going to help other people if you're the way you are right now. Like, let's be honest, most people are not happy, they're miserable, they don't like their job, they're in bad relationships, they have a situationship, they're not making any money, they're miserable, they don't like their job, they don't like their coworker, their boss is mean, they're just not happy. So you have to at least get to a point where you're working towards being a better person, right? And I think everyone can do that. I don't care where you're at. I don't care how bad of a person you are. You can always work on yourself and start from square one, right? Tomorrow's a new day, and the sun comes around. It's going to keep coming around. So do you want to live the rest of the life the way you've been living it? I don't think you do.
And trust me, the sun shines bright on you when you have money, as you can see.
The money looks good on everyone, right?
Money looks good on anybody. So being broke looks bad on everybody.
And this is the truth. I wish it wasn't, but it's the game, and it's the game of life. And as far as we know, there's no alternate reality that we can time travel to, as far as we know. And so we gotta play the game we're dealt, right? Like everyone got.
Yeah, I think anything is possible. Anything is possible. It may not be probable for some of you, but that's only because you make it that way. Right. You have to do what it takes to make it the possibility more probable. And the first step is by signing up for Robinhood with the link below.
And we're not even affiliated. There's tons of brokers. You can use Schwab. You can use there's so many different investment tools and avenues you can sign up for. But I think Robinhood just has a good introduction for people.
I'm happy you brought that up. Like you said, it's one avenue. There's so many ways you can go. You could do YouTube like we're doing. You could do social media. I mean, YouTube is social media, but you could do social media, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok is probably the fastest way to grow right now, but you could do anything. You can start your own business. You're good at mowing lawns, start a lawn mowing business. You're good at video editing, start a video editing business. Do you have a skill that other people want to know how to do? Start a coaching business.
Right.
I mean, develop a product, sell it to people, start a course. There's so many things you can do.
And
while you're sitting there mad at life because you're bagging groceries, you could be bagging cash.
Right.
Just by stepping outside of your box and not being broke. And here's what I mean by broke, okay? Broke, I mean, on top of there being no money in your bank account, it's a mentality. It's an identity. You identify with being broke. That's why you're broke. Your whole life revolves around you having no money. You try to save for everything. You're afraid to buy stuff. Why? Because you don't have money. If you have money, you wouldn't be afraid to buy things, but you are afraid to buy things because you don't have money. The first step to doing that, once again, is to accept that you don't have it. Once you accept that, you can look forward. And what's the first step? Signing up for, well, I mean, if you're on this channel, you're learning about stocks. So the first step is to sign up for a brokerage account, Robinhood preferably, because it's very simple to understand for you if you're just getting into getting into stocks, and you want to buy your first asset. Which is a stock. Just buy your first asset. Honestly, don't even do research. This is the financial advice. Don't even do research. Just get on the app. Think about whatever store you like. Do you frequent Walmart? Buy Walmart stock. Just put $10 on it, or however much it is. Just buy one of it. You have $500. Just buy one of any stock you like, and just see it go up and down.
Well, and
once you start seeing that, you realize that money doesn't require you to actively work for it.
And I think that's the thing, right? This is one of those things where you can get very addicted to it very quickly, and it's one of those things. It's hard to fully comprehend if you haven't been doing this. It's still overwhelming. It's still like, how does this make sense? I think most of these people, if they've never done that, they still are like, holy crap, like this is gonna take years, and you need to do all this research. No, it's really as simple as Professor Dr. Money said, right? Like, so once you have this Robinhood account, and I know nowadays we've shifted to in the current environment, everyone's shifting to crypto or becoming these altcoins, right? It used to be the NFTs, which are now becoming worthless, but it can't be from an impulsive gambler type of mental, right? The whole goal is to keep adding more and more money to this pot, and it's going to grow and grow and grow faster, right? Like when you plant a seed, the seed isn't even above ground for months sometimes, right? And so you have to pretend you're the seed, right? There's storms coming, there's going to be rain, there's going to be sun. You have to take the good days, take the energy out of the good days, and grow to become a sapling, and then a full-blown tree eventually, right? And then you can pollinate others. You can pollinate others at that point, right?
And like, trust me, I agree 100% with what Mr. Wall Street is saying. And trust me, if you know what you know, even if you're short, you're very tall when you're standing on money. So, yes, the tallest tree in the forest is, in fact, the tree that's standing on money. Its roots are based in the bag. Yeah, with that being said,
no, it's the bamboo tree. I think was the prime example where it takes a long time for it to even get above ground. But once it does, it's one of the tallest plants there is. Right? And there's a different time frame for everyone. Some people are going to be rich tomorrow. They're going to hit the lottery, right? Some people are going to be born into a wealthy family. Others, it might take decades, right? But you have to understand it's possible for everyone. It's possible for you, right? Stop looking for this 10-minute get-rich scheme. It could happen, but you can't count on it.
I'm so happy you touched on the get-rich schemes. There's so many people out here grifting. A lot of people don't have the money they talk about. A lot of people don't know the knowledge that they're telling you about. A lot of people have never done the work. They're just telling you hypothetically what could happen if you did the work. However, I know personally, and I'm sure he's showed you, Mr. Wall Street has done the work. He's walked the walk. He's talked the talk.
I've been there.
I mean, just do what he would do hypothetically. He's not telling you financial advice. However, for the entertainment purposes, if you ever wanted to try it out, it's your prerogative. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm saying if you think of doing it, maybe it won't hurt you. Because here's the thing, guys. If you want to get out of the situation you're in, you're going to have to try something. You can't just live comfortably flipping burgers, bagging groceries. And here's the thing. When I say this, I don't say this derogatorily as in having a job is not bad, guys. Anyone who has a job, I respect because you're making money. The only people I don't respect are people who make fun of people for working. I don't like those type of people because not only are they not making money, but they're making fun of people who are, and that's a no-no. Broke people should never make fun of people making money. That's just a no-no. With that being said, if you want to grow and gain something out of life, you need to start doing something, and stocks is one of the many avenues. I believe in potential of all people. Even if you're broke on the inside and you're a liability, anyone can become an asset. The way you do that is simply by doing anything to begin. However, you need to start learning somewhere. The best investment you can make is in yourself. And if you can't even invest in yourself by taking the time instead of gooning, instead of watching Netflix, instead of spending your money on McDonald's, take the little bit of time to learn something each day about some way to make money. Go research, go read. I know a lot of you don't read nowadays. However, it's a time to start reading. You need to start reading. You need to pick up a book if you don't have the money to pay for a coach. The best way to learn anything is to pay somebody to teach it to you personally because they know all the nuance. However, you don't have money. That's why you're watching this. So with that being the case, you need to get it for free somehow. The way you do that is by watching us. That's it. You just watch us.
I mean, I think, and people always ask, "Oh, what's it be to be successful? What is success?" And I think, like you said, anyone that's trying is successful. If you're not trying, you have no hope. I mean, you might as well.
If you're not trying, you're dying. The only thing guaranteed in life, as far as I know, is death.
And and about all these people online, and most of them are fake money and just trying to sell their course or whatever, right? Like, and fake rich and just show money, right? Like, my grandpa gave me a saying, and I've lived by it, and he always said, "Believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see." And I've always taken that, and I'm like, well, let's be honest. Most of the stuff anyone's I've ever said is BS. Right? To some degree,
yes.
Everyone lies to some degree. Everyone stretches the truth. It's like, what is real anymore? And if you see it, you can believe it, right? And if you can see it in your mind, that's the first step. And you have to be delusional. Be delusional. I don't care if other people think your idea is stupid. I don't care if other people say, "Oh no, that's not gonna work." Who's you? Who's who? If they're not paying your bills, if they're not, no one's opinions matter, right? Like, it's your life. At the end of the day, we're all going to die, as far as we know, right? And you only got so many days. So why would you want to spend your life doing some miserable stuff, working all these extra hours, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a vision for your future, right? Like,
and let me tell you something. We're not trying to sell you a course. We're going to be wealthy regardless of what you do. So this is all to help you. You don't have to buy nothing. You don't have to pay for anything. All you have to do is give a little bit of your time to watch the video and really write down the things we're talking about. If you want a step-by-step process, here it is. 1, if you're working a job right now, save up to $500. Even if no matter how long it takes, save up $500. If you want to get out of that job, that's a whole nother story. But we're going to talk to you about what we know to do. Save up $500. Sign up for that Robinhood account. Think about a company that you like to buy stuff from, whether it's Walmart, Target. See if they have a stock. See if they have a stock account. Not a stock account. What's it called? See if they're on the stock market. All you have to do is Google this company stock. If they have a stock, invest. Just buy one share of it. Just buy one share. Because you go there anyways. Just buy one share of it and then look at the portfolio. Look at it going up. Look at it going down. Look at it going sideways. It's not an overnight process. It's going to take time. However, time is going to move forward no matter what you do. You can spend 10 years working at Starbucks forever, or you could save up 500 and in a couple of years do whatever you want to do while making money doing nothing. All you have to do is boop boop 500,000. Who wouldn't want to do that?
And time is the most important thing. It's not about, everyone says, oh, well, how do I know when to time the market? Like, right, I'm trying to think of things why people wouldn't. They're like, well, everything's at all-time high. I need to time the market, right? And it's not about that. It's about time in the market. I mean, historically, and this has been for the forever, through the Great Depression, through the 2008 crash, through COVID crash, the stock market has always, let me say it one more time, always gone up. And it's gone up 8% every year. Every year, roughly 8% average. And that is outpacing inflation. So, and there was a study once, a funny side story, where they took chimpanzees and they had them select buttons on a screen to pick random stocks, literally random stocks. And these chimpanzees outperformed in their portfolio better than the top stock traders on Wall Street. And it just goes to show you don't need brains. You just need time in the market. Sometimes the stupid decisions are the good decisions, right?
And I'm happy you said stupid. Do you know that there's people 10 times dumber than you making 10 times more than you? How does that make you feel?
That should make you furious.
It should make you angry. There's people wealthy, never have to work a day in their life, as smart as a bag of rocks. And they're making more money than you because they tried. That's the only difference. The only difference is they tried. They invested in themselves. And now they don't have to work a 9 to 5. They can get up when they want. They may still have to do some work here and there. However, they're working for themselves. Every dollar you make, somebody is making money off of you when you're working a job. You're being paid $12, $13, $14, $15, $16 an hour. However, that person is making money off of you. That's why they hired you, to help them make more money.
Right. I mean, these jobs aren't created to help you. They're helping the company. Otherwise, they wouldn't have hired you. I mean, that's the thing. That's how you should view the world, right? Is like, anytime you're doing something, what's in it for you, but what's in it for the other person, right? Like, or the other company, right? Like, it's a given.
No, you were right. What is it? What's in it for the other person? Relationships, health, wealth, whatever it may be. Somebody is profiting some way, somehow. You are also in that category. If you're friends with somebody, you're profiting from it somehow. I'm not saying that every relationship has to be transactional. I'm saying every relationship is transactional.
Absolutely.
Somebody is profiting some way, whether it be emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. Someone is profiting some way, and sometimes it's going to be lopsided. Sometimes it's going to be equal. Sometimes it's going to be more in your favor than the other person's. However, somebody is profiting some way, and once you understand that, then you understand how money works. Money is created only in the banks. Everywhere else, it's taken. It's traded. Money is a representation of value. And whenever it goes from one place to another, that means that value is being traded, which is why I say you got to build some sort of value. Even if you don't want to do stocks, at least invest in yourself, learn something, get a certificate, get a degree. Hell, just start a YouTube channel. Do something that you can do yourself to build something for yourself. Or if you're cool with working your job, just keep climbing the ladder. Try to climb the ladder. Don't be satisfied with being a grunt, because life is always going to be tough for you. Imagine if you get into a car accident, somebody has to pay for that. If you get hurt, someone has to pay for medical bills. If anything happens, it's going to require money. And without that, you're going to be in a bad position. You really are. I wouldn't want to be like that. I don't want to be you. I really don't. I would hate to be you watching this right now because you don't have money, and I do.
And I mean, and I think that goes for you watching at home is you don't want to be where you're at forever, right? And I think if you really try, put some time aside. I know everyone has extra time. I don't care what you're doing. You have time. You right now you have excuses, but you have time, right? And if you start bettering yourself in some way, making money, I bet your relationships will get better. I get your family will get better. Your money will get better. Your health will get better. Have you ever noticed in life? And I'll ask you, Professor Doctor Money. I have to get that right. That once things are going good in your life, everything else goes good too. It's
Yeah.
crazy how like just focusing in on one thing and making that one thing good every day, that one habit, and we'll wrap it up here soon here, but it's if you get into this habit of investing in stocks, right? And like he said, it right now it doesn't matter what you buy, right? Eventually it probably will go up statistically, right? And
Eventually, yes.
eventually, right? And even then, you could always average down, which means buying it as it goes down, and then your average would be lower, right? And if it goes up, well, you're winning anyways, right? And here's the thing, right? It's to me, the most important thing is the mindset, and the second thing to follow that mindset is the habit. Because just doing anything, and I don't care what it is, and I think it's funny how money is very similar to relationships, is very funny, equivalent to the job. Everything has these same traits to where if you put effort, if you try, if you put some time into it, you sit back, you think, you don't let the little stuff bother you, right? Like if it's a little problem, it's not going to be a bothersome in the year. It's not even a problem at all, right? Get those excuses out of your head and say, I can do that. You right? Say you can do it. Like right now, to look at the screen, say, I can do it. Just do it. I mean,
I can do it. I can do it. I did it. I'm there.
Imagine when you can say, I did it. I am doing it, right? Like talk as if you are.
I am become money. I am become money.
You are money. You are.
You are money. You are.
Exactly.
You are money.
So it's putting in the effort, putting in the grind. We'll have plenty more episodes. If you guys like this kind of discussion, and please, if you have anything else you want to say in this episode, please give some final words, and we'll host these. We'll have more of these episodes if you guys like this. We're honestly here to help you guys out, you in particular. And this is a wake-up call, right? Where a lot of America's struggling.
Let me say something real quick.
Sure.
I'm gonna use the Amway tactic here because they have a really good mental model by saying, "Hey, you are special. If you are watching this right now, if you made it to this point, that means that you have the capability to change. You want to change. Otherwise, why would you watch this the entire time?" Yes, we may say things that hurt your feelings. However, your feelings don't make you money, or they haven't at least.
Your feelings don't matter. I'm just gonna say.
No, they matter. Not when it comes to making money a lot of the times, but they do matter. I think your feelings do matter. So if you do feel some type of way, you should channel that energy into making more money. Then you won't feel offended when we talk about people being broke because you won't be one of them. It's that simple. If you want to make money, there's 3 skills I recommend anyone learn if they want to increase their active income to increase their passive income. That's going to be selling, networking, and marketing. If you can master one of those 3 skills, you'll have money forever. If there's any skill you wanted to learn today, I would learn how to sell, how to network, or how to market. If I had to choose one, it'd be selling. Because when you can sell something, you can sell anything.
You can sell yourself.
When you can sell stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. And when you can sell stuff, you can make money.
And don't let anyone talk you out of it. Don't let someone don't let someone broker than you tell you can't do it, right? Like don't.
And that's the thing. It's crabs in a barrel. A broke person will always try to bring you back to equilibrium brokenness. When someone is broke, seeing you try to get wealthy, it's like a deterrence to their life. They feel offended. How dare you not be as broke as I am? So what they do is they pull you back to this broke-librium, this equality of brokenness, to restore the balance. Because when they see you have money, it's not part of their reality. And the brain tries anything it does to make what you think a reality. So if you think broke, all you'll see is broke. If you think rich, if you think wealthy, all you will see is wealth. That's all I got to say.
I think we provided good value in this. I really do, right? You can choose, and we have the power of choice, right? I'll end with this. You have the choice to be broke. You have the choice to be rich, right? And I choose wealth 100 out of 100 times, every time. Brokies talk too much. They do. They're talking. They're not doing nothing. I've never. Do you? I mean, I'm gonna ask the viewer at home. Have you ever seen a broke person happy? I haven't. They've always had something going on. Then why would you choose that? Why would it? So choose to be better. Choose to be like Professor Dr. Money. Choose to be like Mr. Wall Street, and choose rich. Don't be broke. Don't be broke.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, until next time, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Mr. Wall Street, Dr. Professor Money, we are out of this.
Professor Dr. Money. Thank you.
Peace.